Okie dokes, we are now up to question 5b of exercise 14h, which is asking us to find all the values of x between negative pi and pi. And this negative pi, them restricting our domain to negative pi and pi is really going to affect how we answer this question. So the question itself is sine x equals the square root of 3 over 2. So when we look at our unit circle, because we're dealing with sine, we know that we're really only going to care about our y-axis. And we're looking where on my y-axis am I going to get the square root of 3 on 2. I know that the square root of 3 on 2 is my biggest value, so I know it's going to exist up here. That's going to be the square root of 3 on 2. And then I'm going to put out little dots to find where this is going to lie on my unit circle. So it's going to be here. And then dots this way, it will be here. And then I should be able to write down the coordinates of each of these because I've memorized my unit circle. So this is going to be the square root, oops, sorry, I'm going to put my x first. It's going to be 1/2 the square root of 3 on 2. And then on this side, I'm going to get negative 1/2 the square root of 3 on 2. So in my coordinate here, I've put in both my x and my y, But remember, because I'm dealing with sine, I only really care about my y value and ensuring that they're both the square root of 3 on 2. So let me now rub this one out. Perfect. Next step is let me draw in my lines. So I'm going to have a line here, and then I'm going to have another line here. Perfect. Now we need to find our answers. But before we start drawing in angles here, we need to look at our domain. Our domain is between negative pi and pi, which is going to make things interesting. So we know that, if I was to go here in green, we know that we start at 0, then we work our way around, and this distance from here to here, this is going to be pi. And then we know that as I go around again, I'm going to come to 2 pi here. So once I do one full rotation, it's going to be 2 pi. That 2 pi isn't very important for this question. So we know that our domain is going to be from 0 to pi, but as you can also see, it's a negative pi as well. So what that means is that if we were to start at 0 and go backwards, we're going to get to negative pi. And that's going to be important. But actually for this question, it isn't that important because the only answers, the only values of x that exist between 0 and pi. As you can see, from 0 to negative pi, we don't have anything in this section. So it doesn't really matter. So now we need to figure out what this value will be. And because we've memorized our unit circle, we know that this value is going to be pi on 3. So then I could come over here and I could write my x is going to be equal to pi on 3. And then my next answer will be from here to here. And again, because I've memorized my unit circle, I know that's going to be 2 pi on 3. 2 pi on 3. And both of these exist between 0 and pi. So this is 2 pi on 3. Both of these exist between 0 and pi. I have no solutions in my 0 to negative pi region, so it doesn't really matter. So at the end of the day, these are going to be my answers. X is going to be pi on 3 and 2 pi on 3. Hopefully this has been helpful to you.